What's going on, everybody? I'm Dom of X, near mint condition project manager and assistant editor of comicreleases.com, and today I've got a lot of updates to talk about and some books, so let's get into it. Hey guys, just want to let you know before recording the video that DC will be updating their logo for all books in October and onwards. So the bullet logo that was revealed during SDCC will effectively be the DC logo for the foreseeable future, coming this October via the words of DC President Jim Lee. We talked about this in the last video and I asked y'all which format would you prefer. It seems like I'm going to stick with the long format. I think it works best, especially for all the people who are looking for this stuff anyways, have it running in the background, but also it allows me to put more content together and it makes it a lot more consistent. So a lot of these videos are probably going to be upwards over 10 minutes, which is fine. And I'm cool with that. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And the first, we have 3 release date updates and 2 price changes. So again, I quickly wanted to talk about that before I got into anything else. The first one is Spectacular Spider-Man number 8. This is the Greg Weisman, Humberto Ramos ongoing book between the dynamic duo of both Spider-Men. It's coming out now on the 16th of October instead of the 2nd. Next up is Werewolf by Night Red Band number 2. This is one of those poly-bagged versions, so it is essential to get these if you're trying to get some of that bloody art. There also are original pages compared to the regular edition. Nonetheless, this is coming out a week later on the 25th of September instead of the 18th. Last but not least, Ultraman X Avengers by number 2 by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom. This is coming out now on the 2nd of October instead of the 18th, so heads up to any of you folks who are buying singles. Next up, we got price changes. The first one is Marvel 2-in-1 collected Epic Collection Remembrance of Past Things. It is now $44.99 instead of $39.99. And last but not least, Kid Venom Origins, which was formerly supposed to be one of those regular size Marvel thin trade paperbacks, but they are now switching and converting this to a graphic novel sized format. So in that instance, it's now $13.99 instead of $17.99, the same price that you see the Marvel Masterworks editions for, the Spider-Gwen, Miss Marvel thin graphic novels that you probably have seen at your comic shop or a retailer or something like that near you. So that is going to be it for the updates. Let's go ahead and get into the yummy meat that was the updated DC catalog for next year's Q1 of products. The first one being Milestone Compendium Book 4, which is going to collect Blood Syndicate 28 through 32, Hardware 29 through 38, Icon 28 to 37, Static 26 to 31, Zombie 12 to 21, Shadow Cabinet 14 to 17, My Name is Holocaust 1 through 5, and The Long Hot Summer 1 through 3. This is going to retail for $59.99, and it's a thick boy. That is 1,344 pages of content coming out on the 4th of February of next year. There should be one more according to my good friend Mr. Freeven. Thank you, sir, for giving me that update on how much there is left to collect. So it looks like there will be one more Milestone Compendium. I think they're doing a wonderful job reprinting some of these older stories in this format, and if you want to collect those, this is the best way to get them. Next up is Scalped Omnibus Volume 2. This is the second half of Jason Aaron and R.M. Guerra's critically acclaimed Vertigo title. This is now coming out next year, again, same date. Scalped issues 30 through 60 are going to be collected here as opposed to 1 through 29 in the first omnibus. This is 768 pages for $99.99. Up next is the continuation of Batman Superman World's Finest Volume 5 Secret Origins. Now, this is coming out hardcover trade paperback the same day because DC is doing the same hardcover trade paperback for the books that are still getting them, like Batman, Detective Comics, Poison Ivy, Nightwing, and of course Batman Superman. So there you see that the differences between price are also evident. Same page count, but again, price, you're paying a premium $7 more for a hardcover in the extra cardboard than you would for a trade paperback. This is also collecting the issues that weren't in volume 4, so it's going to collect issues 18 through 19, which is a Riddler story, a 2-shot, issue 25, and also the annual number 1. Up next is Batman and Robin by Joshua Williamson, Volume 2. We don't have an arc name for that yet. This is going to collect Batman and Robin 7 through 13, which will take you to the end of the Williamson run. This is going to retail for $19.99, 160 pages, coming out next year on February the 4th. Now, note with this Batman and Robin collection, we got a change for Volume 1, where it was supposed to collect issues 1 through 4 in the annual, but instead it got changed to issues 1 through 6 without the annual. There was an annual that came out, which was a super nice adventure story with Bruce and Damian, sort of like father-son bonding time, drawn by Howard Porter. It's not collected anywhere at the moment, and obviously next week we'll figure out if it actually does collect 1 through 4 in the annual, or the solicitation might be wrong. DC sometimes does this, and I'll go into this a little bit later. The thing is, I would like to know if this is ever going to be collected or not. Again, just a heads up for all of you trade waiters out there who are planning to read this in the upcoming future, whatever that might look like. Next up is Batman and Robin by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, book 2. No contents yet to be announced, but this will probably take us, because the first book was 20 issues, this will probably take us to like issue 30, something around of that sort, probably issues 15 to 30. Again, that's speculation. We don't know what the contents are because they don't say on Penguin Random House. This is going to be retailing at $39.99 for 424 pages of content. Again, February the 4th. Lots of February the 4th, man. That's a lot of books coming out on that day. Next up is Action Comics Volume 3, Revenge of the Demon trade paperback. This is the end to Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on Action Comics. This is the dawn of DC content that he did with the Superman family, including characters like King Kong and Supergirl, other characters of that sort. This is going to collect Action Comics 1060 to 1061 in an annual. They're all oversized, so you will get a lot of content in there. It also looks like they're going to collect the backups in those stories as well. So you will get a nicely sized trade paperback to round out the Philip Kennedy Johnson era of Action Comics, which was all collected nicely ish in a compendium, depending on what your opinion is on that for certain. So again, 192 pages for $19.99, coming out next year on the February 11th date of release. So that is Action Comics Volume 3 by PKJ. Up next is Absolute Power Task Force 7 trade paperback. This is 176 pages for $17.99, and you get all 7 issues of Absolute Power Task Force 7, issues 1 through 7. How appropriate is that? All different stories by different creators. Again, this is a tie-in to Absolute Power, which I'll get to into a minute. So this is for all the people who are trying to collect the event. This is an absolute must-get if you are planning to read all of Absolute Power. Next up is a big one for me, Far Sector, the Deluxe Edition. It took way too long, honestly. This is a book that I have been waiting on. It's, at least in recent memory, probably my second or third favorite Green Lantern stuff. Right, of course, behind the Jeff Johns saga from 2004 to 2013. Morrison, Green Lantern, and this is probably number 3. This and the first season of Green Lantern by Morrison, a flip-flop between each positions, I guess, in my head. But wonderful book, man. Way overdue. This came in compact edition earlier, but this also collects the Green Lantern 80th anniversary special number 1 with the story with Joe Mullane in it, DC Pride number 1 material from that, DC Power Celebration number 1, and DC Power 2024 number 1. All Joe Mullane stories, all collected beautifully in here. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait for this collection. This is going to retail at $49.99, 320 pages on the 11th of February of next year. I love Joe Mullane. I love her as a character. I love Jamal Campbell's art. I love the writing in this. It's tremendous. You guys should go pick it up. It'll probably have a glowing foil or some sort of gimmick in the same form of fashion that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow had with its gold foil on the dust jacket. So I cannot wait for that. It's going to be presented beautifully, and that book deserves it. Next up is an interesting one. Absolute Power is coming out in a standard hardcover. This is going to collect the 4 issues that Wade and Maura obviously co-wrote and co-drew, co-storied, co-plotted, everything of that sort. And Absolute Power Ground Zero number 1, which was not Wade and Maura, but it was Wade and a couple of other folks, Made in Janin. I'm actually surprised that they did not include the Free Comic Book Day material of Absolute Power in here. That It does kind of feel weird to me, but again, I'm not the one making decisions. And this is going to look very awkward on your shelf if you have all of the Absolute Power trade paperback tie-ins. I'm very, very contentious with different formats on my shelf and how it's going to look. Obviously, this is going to be $29.99, 184 pages, and this is February the 4th for a release date for next year. Next up is Justice Society of America by Jeff Johns, Mikkel Janin, and Todd Knock, Volume 2 hardcover. This is going to collect issues 6 through 12 of the run, as issues 1 through 5 and the new Golden Age one-shot were collected in the first volume. This is going to be $24.99, 176 pages, coming out next year on the 18th of February. I've had many a piece before. In fact, I even made a video considering the delays. Let's hope that this book no longer gets delayed and it actually comes out in time. Next up is Shazam, Volume 2, Moving Day. This collects Shazam issues 7 through 12. Half of it is Mark Waid, but it's not Dan Mora who does the art. It is Goran Sud. I don't know how to say his last name, but it's not Mora who draws those issues. But the thing is, Emmanuel Lupacchino on the art, and Josie Campbell, who wrote Shazam, the Mary Marvel Shazam book, the new Champion of Shazam, she took over the book and she's now in control of the Shazam Elite, the Shazam franchise. This is coming out on the 18th of February of next year. Once again, issues 7 through 12, $19.99, 176 pages for this trade paperback. Absolute Power Origins. This is actually a very perplexing comic to me because it is $17.99 for 96 pages. It's not a lot of content, but it does collect the Absolute Power Origins issues 1 through 3, and if you want to know more about Amanda Waller's secret backstory, this is the book that you have to pick up. Next up is a biggie, Forever Evil, Omnibus, hardcover. Oh my goodness, this is so big. It feels like $155,000, but it's only $150. 1,336 pages, which collects Justice League Dark 24 to 29, Suicide Squad 24 through 30, Justice League 24 through 30, Justice League of America 8 through 13, Trinity of Sin, The Phantom Stranger 12 through 7, Constantine 9 through 12, Trinity of Sin, Pandora 4 through 9, Forever Evil 1 through 7, Forever Evil Ark of War, Forever Evil Rogues Rebellion, Argus, Aftermath Batman vs. Bane one shot, coming out next year on the 11th of February. Now, my piece of advice to all of you is that unless you are completely interested in every single aspect of this event, do not buy the Omni. You already have John's Volume 2, which already maps it well in accordance, because you really need to understand what happens in the Forever Evil main event that is drawn by David Finch, and the Justice League issues that are drawn by Ivan Reyes. If you want to know what happens after the event, I would suggest reading the Grayson Omnibus by Tim Seeley and Tom King and Mikkel Janin to figure out what happens between Dick Grayson during this and after this. So that is my piece of advice there. Next is The Brave and the Bold, Volume 2, Book of Destiny. This is Mark Waid, George Perez having a couple of nice team-ups between some characters in these titles. Issues 7 through 12 are reprinted in this brand new edition, $17.99, 160 pages. We had the Volume 1 solicitation for this of a brand new edition not too long ago. Now we're getting a Volume 2. Next up is The Flash by Grant Morrison and Mark Millar, Deluxe Edition hardcover. Now, two things to note about this. The first is that I had a comment, I don't know if I can find it, but someone asked me if this book got completely delayed, and I said, give DC a minute and wait it out. And they did. But the two things I was going to mention was that the first is there's a brand new cover, as you can see there, somewhere around there, on your screen. That is a brand new cover for the book. It also has a brand new ISBN. So what's up with that? Same content, same price, same everything. Just thought I'd mention it. Next up is the John Constantine Hellblazer Dead in America miniseries by Cy Spurrier and Aaron Campbell being collected again in hardcover. Hopefully that they can collect all of their Constantine stuff in a nice omnibus. But before that, we have issues 1 through 11 collected in here, $39.99, 264 pages. This is not oversized. This is standard hardcover, just to let all of the folks at home know. Up next is Sean Martin Bros. Red Hood, The Hill trade paperback with Sanford Green. Yes, the guy who drew Doom with Jonathan Hickman on the script. This is $17.99, 144 pages, and collects the entire miniseries, which includes a reprint of the Sean Martin Bros. Stories at the tail end of Scott Lobdell's second stint on Jason Todd, coming out next year on the 18th of February. Next is Power Girl, Volume 2, trade paperback with a cover by Yannick Paquette. This is coming out on the 25th of next year on February. Power Girl issues 8 through 12 are going to be collected here. $19.99, 176 pages. Next is a big one. I will definitely be getting this. Any Green Arrow fan should be jumping on cloud 9. I remember talking to my friend. I was like, yo, it's time. And yeah, Green Arrow Archer's Quest Omnibus. Volume 1 hardcover is finally being printed. All the Kevin Smith stuff is finally being printed. And Brad Meltzer, Judd Winnick, I should say, had a lot of issues in here. 912 pages, $100. And instead of getting that Absolute, you can just get this. Coming out next year on the 11th of March. Green Arrow, 1 through 39. Green Lantern 162 to 164, and Green Arrow Secret Files and Origins #1 are all going to be collected in here. Once again, if you're a Green Arrow fan, jump for joy. DC did not forget about you. Good for all of you guys. I'm happy. Squirtle's happy for you too. Like, you might not be able to see it, but he's happy for you too. Next is Legion of Superheroes, The Great Darkness Saga, the Deluxe Edition. I have no idea why they keep reprinting this stupid cover, spoiling everything, but it is what it is. And again, it's just a reprint. It's the same format, they did increase the price by $10. The old printing was $39.99, new edition is $49.99. Coming in next year again on the same March 11th date, so be tuned in for that. Next is the reprint, brand new edition, volume 1 of Batman TMNT. This is $19.99, 176 pages, and collects the first Batman TMNT series crossover that they did, coming out next year on the 4th of March. Next is JLI Book 1 Born Again. This is a brand new edition of the original printing that came out back in 2020. So if you don't want to collect all the omnibuses, this is a perfect way to get back into JLI. $39.99, 552 pages, collecting all of the first material that is collected in the Omnis, and of course that collects this era of Justice League. Next up is Tom Taylor's Titans Volume 2, the Darkwing. So it says Darkwing Victory on PRH, but it says Queen on the cover, so I'm wondering if that's a mistake. Nonetheless, the arc is called the Darkwing Queen, so it probably is. It's a Raven Trigon story, as many of you might have it. Coming out next year on the 25th of February, collecting the ending of Taylor's stint on Titans and technically Nightwing. Issues 8 through 15, again 8 through 15, $19.99, 176 pages. Now, big one, another big one, and that is, of course, Batman by James Tynion Omnibus. Now, it says Omnibus on PRH, but this is clearly a Volume 1, because all of the material that is collected in here is only up to Joker War. It has all of the Joker War tie-ins, it has their Dark Designs, and it has material that was previously collected in different trade paperbacks. Hardcover is what you may have it, including the Joker Warzone. But yes, have no mistake about it, this is a Volume 1. This does not collect the latter half of the run. This does not collect Fear State. And this is a cover of issue 106 of Batman, not any of the first ones. So I imagine they will change the cover, they will change the volume number, or add a volume number, I should say. But this is going to retail for $125, 1,016. And yes, the big elephant in the room is, why on earth are they printing out Tynion's Batman first in omnibus format before Tom King? I have no idea, but you can find out whenever I talk about it on Nearman Condition. Next up is Batman Volume 4, Dark Prisons, hardcover and trade paperback. I have all the listings there for the trade paperback versus the hardcover in terms of price, so a $5 difference. The interesting thing is the page count. The page count is a 50 page difference. It's a lot of pages, but this is going to collect the Dark Prisons story, I cannot tell you what is going to be collected in here. It's a very, very weird fine line that I guarantee you they will change, but until we know more, this is what we have. Next up is the reprint of the Night Quest Omnibus. This is part 2 of part 3 of Nightfall. And if you guys really enjoy John Paul Valley Bats, please buy it. I'm not a fan, but there are fans out there, I guess. This is anyways collecting all the material that was in the Omnibus before. Next year coming out on the 18th of February, $125 for 976 pages of content. Next is a reprint for Batman by Neil Adams Omnibus 2025 brand new edition. The only thing I really have to say about this, besides everything that you see on the screen, DC, please put this in the original colors. That's all we're asking. Next up is Batman Detective Comics Volume 5 by Ram V. Gotham Nocturne Elegy of Sand. This is the ending of the Ram V era of Detective Comics. What a blessed era to be in, honestly. $29.99, 232 pages, coming out next year on March the 11th, collecting 1081 to 1089. Continuing on, we got Gotham City Sirens by Leah Williams, trade paperback. This is the sort of intermediary between the gap of all of the books that were coming out. I want to say August. This is coming out in August. It's a weekly, and yes, it is going to hopefully capture the format that Paul Dini and Tony Bedard and some of those other guys did back during the post-Final Crisis days of Gotham. So this is going to collect that mini-series, which is a weekly by Leah Williams and Matteo Wally on art, 120 pages, $17.99, again coming out next year on March the 11th. Next up is Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams, Road to War. What a nice Steve Beach cover. This is coming out next year on the 25th of February, $19.99 for 176 pages of content. This is going to collect issues 7 through 12 of Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams. Up next is the Penguin. Yes, Los Penguinos. Is that how you say it? Penguin issues 7 through 12 are collected in here, coming out next year on the 25th of February, 1999, 176 pages. This is the ending of Tom King's Penguin run. And last but not least, this is a brand new edition of the War of Jokes and Riddles. I'm actually assuming that they're probably going to print out all of the trade paperbacks first for Tom King before they get to an omnibus. Yes, there's going to be a massive gap in my collection as far as that's concerned. And I already have all the singles for King Bats. I don't have all the singles for Tynion Batman because I dropped off after Joker War. Or was it after their Dark Designs? Anyways, they're probably going to collect all that first, but this is the same material, same price, page count, all that other stuff and baloney as it was for the first edition. You all know that I work for comicreleases.com. And for those of you wondering what on earth it is and why I keep mentioning it all the time, to the start of every video, to the intro of every interview I've done and I've been on, it's the website that I work for that is your one-stop shop for all up-to-date release dates on the omnibuses, epic collections, hardcovers, special editions of collected editions, and much more for the super duper uber collector. We also have documented solicitations for Marvel, DC, Image, Boom Studios, IDW, Dark Horse, and Titan, releasing every single month, so you are up to date on all comics and graphic novels that are coming out for that pre-order period. Now, if you join our Patreon, which is only at $2 a month, it not only helps me and Webhead, who I run the website with, to keep up the server and have it running, you also get a watch list to document all of your books so that you can track them whenever solicitations go live. It's in depth, it's really cool, and if there's a bug or something that we can improve on the site, please let us know how we can fix this via contact information on the forum or our Discord server. Once again, that's Comic Releases for more information. That's going to do it for this video. I'm really tired, guys, but thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't yet. You be you. Take care. Have a great rest of the day wherever you are.